All right, wildlife. Good morning, everyone. How are you guys doing? You guys good? Do you guys like the Cubs game? You guys still like that game? Good? Sweet. I feel like we should add something to it, like fire something. Anything is better with fire for some reason. Or if you add doom at the end of it, like cups of doom. Maybe we'll do that at camp or something. Anyway, before we go into our time of teaching, well, first off, I'm Johnny. How's it going? If we haven't had a chance to meet. I realized yesterday I haven't been here in like a month. Because if you don't know, we went to Mexico like a month ago, which was awesome. Anyone who went to Mexico, raise your hand. I know you guys did. Awesome stuff. We survived. We're here. It was great. We had some great tacos. It was like amazing. I, had some, the food kind of agreed with my stomach, but it was awesome. And before we go into our time of teaching, a couple things I want to highlight. The first one being is that summer camp is a week from tomorrow. A week from tomorrow, which I'm so excited about that. Raise your hand if you're already registered, you're going to summer camp. You for sure know you are. That is awesome. If you are not signed up, unfortunately, we are sold out. We have no more spots to take you. But we are going to have an awesome time, and next year, if you're still in wildlife, you should come and sign up as soon as you can. It's going to be an awesome time. But a week from tomorrow. So tomorrow, I'm going to be sending you guys an email, your parents an email about the packing list, all the information, what time to get here, all that stuff. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. One thing is that we're going to be doing paintball, which I'm really excited about. And we're going to do a guys' day and then a girls' day. A little thing, if you want to play paintball, one, make sure you have closed-toed shoes. And then also make sure you have, you bring $15, because that's how much paintball is, $15 cash, and then $5 if you want more refills. But if you've never done paintball at summer camp before, it's a lot of fun. It's literally in the woods. There's rocks, there's trees. One year I fell down this like little cliff area, and it was awesome. One time I got shot right here, and I thought I was dying. It was great. One time I got shot in the back of the ear, and it looked like I was bleeding orange paint. It was awesome. So if you want to do paintball, bring that, but also all the packing list, that's going to be tomorrow. I'm really excited about summer camp. It's going to be a lot of fun. The second thing I want to highlight is that if you served on VBS this past week, I know a lot of you guys did. Let's give a round of applause for everyone that served at VBS. That was awesome. I'm so proud of you guys for serving, really just being there for all the RPK kids. That was awesome. I know a lot of you were like going around and you were like, some of you told me, some of you told the other leaders like Michael or whoever, and you were saying like, man, these kids just don't listen to me. And I remember hearing this, I was like, oh really? Really, I don't listen to you. Let's see how summer camp goes. But I'm so proud of you guys. It is awesome just serving Rocky Peak, serving Jesus in that way. You don't know, you really don't know the impact that you guys had on all those students this past week. Because I know a lot of them are like next year they're going to be in 6th grade. They're going to start serving in VBS. They're going to be in wildlife, and they're just going to remember all the impacts that you guys did, all the things you guys did this past week. At VBS. It was just so much fun. Now, speaking of Mexico, it was like a month ago, and I have photos I want to show you guys, and I want to like give you kind of a snapshot of what happened in Mexico. The theme we had in Mexico on our mission trip, if you guys don't know, we went about a month ago to Mexico, middle school and high school, Revolution. We kind of combined together, and we did a Mexico mission trip for about 4 days, and it was super fun. It was a little rocky at first, but God provided, God showed up in an awesome and great way. And the theme we had in Mexico at the mission trip was steps of faith. And we talked about that steps of faith is often kind of just everything we go through is a step of faith, whether it's going to a Mexico mission trip, whether it's maybe coming to wildlife, maybe for the very first time. Everything we do is a step of faith, and we need to cling and just really believe that Jesus is going to provide in awesome, incredible ways. So that was kind of the theme. We did some awesome stuff in Mexico. We like planted like trees. We did like tomato planting. We like sanded down doors. It was a lot of fun. We had some like awesome worship at night, and I want to show you guys some photos from this past like a month ago. So let's show that first one on the screen. Sweet. So this was kind of like our outdoor amphitheater where we did our like evening program, and we did like worship, and all the worship was in Spanish. And I was standing there, and I was like, nice. And then there was like some song they did like Glorious Day, and I was like, oh, I know this song. But that was super fun. It was like this cool outdoor amphitheater. Like you see all the mountains in the background. It was just super cool. Let's see this. Let's see the next one. So every morning we did like a devotional. and we did this devotional, and we had like, pretty much what it was is that like, there was like three other churches down in Mexico that came, and they brought their students, middle school and high school, and we kind of combined, and we like did devotionals in the morning. And you see some of our guys are over here, and then on the other side of the room is a lot of the Mexico students over there. And it was cool because Joey James, some of you guys know him, and then also Sadie led worship. It was like a last minute spontaneous thing. It was awesome. Again, a lot of them it was all in Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish, so that was fun. Let's go to the next photo. Yeah, so over here, you see Jakey. If you guys know Jakey with the Pit Vipers, classic. But we were like planting all these trees. I was like killing it, pulling out weeds. I felt so cool. Let's go to this next one. Yeah, and then over here we have some of the high schoolers kind of sanding down some of the doors, and then we're like restaining them. We were kind of just like reviving this campus, because this campus we were at was like a summer camp for a lot of churches, a lot of students that come to this place, and we're kind of just fixing it up and everything. See this next one? Sweet, we got Z right there, just looking all stoic and manly. Let's go to the next one. Then we got Jillian and some of the high schoolers as well. First off, Jillian, where you killed it on this trip. If you guys don't know, Jillian almost didn't go on the trip, and then she came on the trip like the day before. It was awesome. She killed it. Let's see this next one. Sweet, and then we got some other middle schoolers there. We got Tyler and Noah. Let's see this next one. Oh yeah, that was Kevin. We had a guy named Kevin. Oh, and then we got Samantha or Sam, Sammy, whatever your name is. But if you guys don't know, she like sprained her ankle on this trip. It was funny how it happened. And what's hilarious is that she caught it on video. So take a look. Yeah.
That is Osborne. El Pollo Loco, crazy chicken on. What?
So that loud like metal noise you heard, that was your Hydro Flask hitting you in the head, right? So if you guys don't know, she was going down, like we were going down to like our big meeting hall after our evening program, and we were going down, she was going down this little hill, and apparently I was like 5 feet from her, and I didn't notice any of this at all. I just kept walking. But she was going down this little hill, and she was recording. Why were you recording? Just for funsies, I guess? And she was going down, and then she kind of like lost her balance a little bit. She just kind of started stumbling and everything. And then you hear her Hydro Flask hit her in the head, and then you hear the noise at the end. That's her phone hitting the ground, and then she like sprained her ankle. But you're fine now, right? Can you stand up? Go and stand on up. She's great. She's fine. That's awesome. So in this photo as well, we see they were planting some tomato plants. That guy in the middle in the white shirt, that guy's name was Wes. He was kind of in charge of everything that we met over there. I think there's a couple more photos. Let's go to the next one. Oh, yeah, so there's all of us getting our sunburn on. It was pretty great. Guys, I got like the worst sunburn there. I was peeling on like the back of my knee. It was gross. Let's go to the next one. I think there's one more. Yeah, and then the last night, we had an awesome bonfire where we like just burned like anything we found. And we were kind of just like sharing a little bit like what we got out of the trip, how God provided. It was just an awesome experience. So I just wanted to share that a little bit with you because I know a lot of you are like, you guys went to Mexico. What'd you do? What happened? Like, was there a goat? Yeah, there was like a sheep or a goat right there. We thought like the guy teaching was going to kill his sheep. Do you remember that? That was crazy. He did it though. So anyway, so it was awesome time. We really, God provided in Mexico. It was just a ton of fun. One thing I just want to highlight real quick is that the reason why I'm sitting down, as some of you may know, is that I recently injured my back pretty severely because, I'm 75. And it's kind of sometimes hard to stand and kind of move around, so I'm sitting down. The way I hurt my back is that I was wakeboarding last week, which is why I wasn't here this last Sunday, is because I was in pain and dying. But I wakeboarded and I must have landed on my back pretty severely. I couldn't move. I landed on my tailbone and I couldn't move. It shot down. All the pain went down to my toes to my knees. I could barely walk around. I was walking around like an old man. I couldn't move my neck at all. I couldn't look. It was terrible. I was bedridden for 4 days. It was terrible, but I'm feeling a lot better now. So I'm glad I'm here this morning. I know many of you have been praying for me, so I'm very appreciative of that. Thank you so much. I just want to let you know, if you're like, why does Johnny look like he's in pain? It's because I am, right? But I'm really excited for this morning as we continue our series, Emotional. So let's go ahead and pray, and let's get started. Jesus, thank you so much that we have an opportunity every Sunday. I say this. Every Sunday we can come before you and just learn more about who you are. I pray as we continue this series, as we continue going through the Psalms, that you'll continue to show us more of who you are. I pray as we enter this time that your Holy Spirit would be changing our thoughts, our minds to be more like you, that we would be kind of refined, that we would be made to be more like who we were supposed to be sons and daughters of the King. So would you just continue to shape us, to mold us, to be more like you? We love you, we thank you, and we give this time to you in your name. Amen. So, throughout this summer, we've been in this series called Emotional, Seeing God Through Our Emotion. And we started this about a month ago, the last time I was here. And then Trent came and taught. We had Tim, the high school pastor, came and teach. And then last week, we had Dre come up and teach. In this series, we've been looking at different emotions throughout the Psalms. And we've been seeing is that the Psalms invite us to experience emotion like no other. They invite us to think really slowly, to think of ideas slowly, about life from many different angles, all right? And that's kind of what the Psalms are, is that the Psalms, some of them are prayers, some of them are laments, which is a passion of expression of like deep sorrow or something going on, really hardship in life. And a lot of them are also like songs or hymns, right? Maybe like old school, if your grandparents like hymns. That's kind of what a lot of the Psalms are. And we see a lot of emotion through the Psalm. And this morning, we're going to look at Psalm 46, and we're going to be seeing that in this psalm, we're going to see how God is telling us to take refuge in him, to find our comfort in him. Is that when life is going really rough, right? Because we all go through rough times in life, is that we should be comforted. We should be having a refuge in God because he's the only one that brings comfort. Now, I want to start this time off with kind of a rhetorical question, which means you don't have to raise your hand or answer it. Just think to yourself, how would you answer this? Think about this, is that why do you think so many people love movies and music so much? Just think about that. Maybe you're like me. Maybe you love movies. Maybe you love music. And there's a real connection you have to music or movies, right? Maybe it's because you love watching like action movies or like Indiana Jones. You love watching adventure movies. Or maybe you like listening to like pop music, hip hop, whatever kind of music, because you just love the sound of it. You love the stories in the movies. But I really do think that a lot of the reason why we love movies or music is because the emotional connection we find in those, right? Whether it's in a song, maybe it's about like a breakup song, and you're going through a hard time, and you're like, oh, this is so relatable to me. Or maybe it's like a really powerful, upbeat song just about joy and happiness, and you're like, yeah, I love this song, right? Or maybe it's about a movie, about a big action movie, and you're like, I'm an action star. I do my own stunts. Not me, though. I can't wakeboard, apparently. But maybe you just love all these things because of the emotional connection we find in them. Now, a lot of you know that I love superhero movies, right? That's not a secret. I love like Spider-Man. I love Superman. I love Captain America. I recently just finished watching the Loki series on Disney Plus. Has anyone finished that? Anyone else confused at the end? No spoilers, but at the end I was like, okay. But it was really good, right? But all of you know, for the most part, I love superhero movies. And I think a lot of the times we draw to those superhero movies or superhero TV shows, maybe it's like The Flash or Arrow, whatever show it is because we love watching action. We love superheroes, saving the day, all that kind of stuff. But I think even more so is because a lot of a good superhero, a lot of a good characteristic of what a good superhero is someone that we can relate to on an emotional scale, right? Because we know a lot of superheroes go through really crazy stuff. Some days they have really good days, they have joy. Some days they have really hard days where they go through maybe anxiety or confusion or frustration, and they can't just figure out this one thing. And a lot of us can relate to that, right? We're like, well, I have joy sometimes. I have frustration, I have anger, I have confusion sometimes. But I think a lot of times throughout the Psalms, we have seen that a lot of these emotions we can relate to because in these Psalms, they're just normal people writing about God, writing about their experiences throughout the stories. Now, there's two superheroes that I kind of have one I have like a love-hate relationship for, and then one that like I really like, right? So the first one I have like a love-hate relationship for is like Superman, right? Anyone have that kind of like, because Superman is like the best of the best. Like he was so good, they had to like create, it was like in the 50s or something, they had to create like a weakness for him. They were like, he's too powerful. Let's have a rock be his weakness. A rock. Right? Which is like, okay, a green rock. Ooh, scary. Right? But Superman is like so overpowered, or even like Captain Marvel, so overpowered that we can't even relate to them, right? If you ever seen like the old school superhero, Superman movies, so like you've seen in like the first Superman movie from like the 70s, he like turns back time. I've never done that. I can't relate to that, right? But there is one superhero that I do relate to, maybe you can relate to me with me as well, is Spider-Man, right? A lot of us can relate with Spider-Man because he's just an average kid. He's a teenager. He got bit by a spider, and all of a sudden he got superpowers. I once got bit by a spider, and it got infected. So I didn't get superpowers. It turned black, and there was pus, and it was gross. Sorry, too much information? Yeah. I went to the doctor. I was like, hey, it's turning black. Is it okay? And the old doctor lady, she looked at it. She was like, huh. She took her two fingers and she like squeezed it together, and I went, ow! And some pus came up, and she was like, huh, you should put some Neosporin on it. And I was like, I paid $30 for you to tell me to put Neosporin on it. Thank you so much. But we relate to Spider-Man because he's just a normal teenager that just this awesome thing happened. He got bit by a radioactive spider. But a lot of the things that Spider-Man goes through is relatable because he deals with relationship troubles, whether it's with like a friend, whether it's balancing school and social life, whatever it is. Now, I have a video I want to show you that kind of captivates kind of how Spider-Man is so relatable, because have any of you ever like texted someone and they misinterpreted what you meant to say in the text, where they maybe thought you were really mad at them, but you were kind of like, whatever, dude, I'm chilling. And they were like, whatever, dude, what? No! And like, it's just a lot of miscommunication and confusion. I have this clip that kind of just like captivates that. It's from a video game called Spider-Man. It came out in like 2018, Spider-Man PS4. So go ahead and look at this clip of that video game. Just tell me how much you relate to that. Take a look.
This is Mary Jane Watson. Please leave a detailed message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Hey, it's me. Let me know when you want to talk. Texting isn't talking? No, not that kind of over. Please say no, please say no. Okay. And not okay. What is there to figure out? Oh, you think?
All right, so what we see in that video is that there's some miscommunication going on, right? And I think all of us can relate to that, like whether it's in an in-person conversation where like our tones kind of don't match up to kind of like our facial expression, like maybe someone thinks like we're upset or mad, but we're like, no, I'm just chilling, it's fine. But I know some of us have like texted someone and it's been kind of misinterpreted, and that's why I love emojis, right? Emojis are great because it kind of expresses what you're like feeling or thinking, right? Now, what we're going to be seeing in this Psalm 46, is that we're going to be seeing that this psalmist, this author, is telling us that we should be going to God for our comfort. That when life gets rough, when life gets really hard, and we are stressed out, whatever it is, we should be going to God because He's the only one that can bring us comfort. Now, I think sometimes when we think about going to places of comfort, we may be thinking of a couple things. Maybe it's like a physical place for comfort, maybe like of bed when you've had like a really long day, whether it's at school or maybe at VBS, you came home and you're like, I just want to sleep for like 12 hours. That's all I want. I want to be left alone for 12 hours and just go to bed, right? And sometimes we'll just go to our bed because that's our comfort, our safe place. Or maybe even more so, maybe it's at night going to our backyards and kind of just looking up at the stars and just being quiet and still and just kind of thinking to yourself and kind of just like calming your mind, right? But I think even more so, sometimes when we go for comfort, we kind of go to like maybe a digital place. Maybe we go to our phones. Maybe we go on social media. You kind of like decompress and kind of just forget about what's ever going on in our everyday life and just be like, TikTok saved my life right now. I need a good laugh, right? And we'll go to our social media because it just kind of brings us comfort and we kind of just like forget about everything going on in life. Now, all of those things can sometimes be good. It can be a fun thing to do. But those things are only going to be so temporary because they're of this world, right? They're of everything in our current culture. And our phones, our bed, all those things are going to go away someday, right? Someday you're going to need a new bed. Someday your phone's going to be out of date. And you're just going to need something new to bring you comfort. And what this psalmist, this author of this psalm is going to tell us is that God should be our refuge. Another way of saying that is that God should be our only comfort because that's who he is. So if you guys have your Bibles, open up to Psalm chapter 46. If you need help, if you have an old school Bible like me, get your Bible, open to like the middle. Probably be in Psalm or the book of Proverbs. Psalm is before Proverbs, so just get in there, all right? So Psalm 46. If you didn't bring your Bibles, that's okay. I want to encourage you to bring that because it's really good just be having like a physical, your own Bible that you can mark up, you can underline, you can highlight, you can draw flames around, whatever. But it's also going to be on the screen for you as well, all right? So let's get reading. It says, God is our refuge and strength, and ever-present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth gives way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, and the mountains quake with their surging. So what we see real quick is that this author is telling us is that God is our refuge. This is written specifically to the nation of Israel, is that God is our refuge and our strength. And because of that, we don't need to fear. Could you imagine being so confident and having so much hope in who God is that when life gets rough, when maybe you don't get a good grade on your test, maybe when you're fighting with your brother or sister, fighting with your parents about something, maybe they wouldn't let you go to Six Flags for whatever reason, whatever it is. When life is getting rough, could you imagine you don't need to worry? You're like, I don't care because God is my refuge and my strength. Let's keep going. Verse 4. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells. God is within her. She will not fall. God will help her at break of day. Nations are in uproar. Kingdoms fall. He lifts his voice. The earth melts. Some funny words. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Come and see what the Lord has done and the desolations he has brought on the earth. He makes wars cease to the ends of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the shields with fire. He says, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. So we see some really powerful wording here, right? It's that God is our refuge, that when life gets rough, when life doesn't go our way, when we stress out, God is still there. Maybe when you're going through a rough time with your friends, you're having a disagreement, you're having an argument, whatever. And you're like, man, no one else is here for me. I can't go and talk to anyone else. That's what this psalm is saying, is that God is still there despite whatever is going on in life. Despite whatever hardship, whatever trial, whatever something's just really going on in life, God is still there. So there's two things from this I want you guys to notice, to pay attention to. If you're taking notes, whether it's on your phone or if you have a pen and you have an arm, you can just write it there. Here's the first one, is that God is comfort. God is our comfort. And the second one is this, is that God tells us to be still. Now that word still, you're probably like, still, like just like don't move at all? In a sense, yeah. What this author is saying is that God is saying is that when life is going terrible, when life is going really hard and you're like, I just don't know what to do, God's still in control. God isn't surprised by it. God's not like, oh my gosh, good luck, right? Figure it out on your own. No, God understands. He knows everything before we know it's going to happen. It's a fancy word called omniscient. It means that God knows everything all the time. He knew what will happen. He knows what has happened. He knows what's currently happened. He knows what's going on right now in your brain. He knows what you're thinking right now. He knows how hungry you are. He knows how many hairs you have on your head. God knows everything. And God is telling us to be still. That when life goes really, really hard, to be still. Now in Matthew chapter 6, Jesus kind of talks about this, is that when we worry, when we stress out, when we just don't know what to do, Jesus is saying this. It's going to be on the screen. Matthew 6, starting in verse 25. Is that it says, therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more than food and the body more than clothes? Look at the birds of the air. So again, look at the pigeons. Those are dumb things. Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns. Another way of saying is that the birds don't worry or stress out, and yet your heavenly Father, God, feeds them. Are you, talking about me, 6th, 7th, 8th grader, are you not more valuable than they? Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? So what Jesus is saying here is that you're worrying, it's not going to do any good for you ever. Your worrying is just going to worry you even more. So Jesus is saying, don't worry because I got this. Which you hear that and you're like, yeah, that sounds good, right? But life can be really hard sometimes. Let's see what he says. Verse 28. And why do you worry about your clothes? See how the flowers of the field grow? They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you that not even Solomon, King Solomon, in all of his splendor was dressed like one of these. Again, Solomon is a really wise guy, the wisest ever. If that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow is thrown into fire, which is saying that grass is going to be here and then one day it's going to die, will he not much more clothe you, you of little faith? So do not worry, saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or what shall we wear? For the pagans run after all these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them. So God knows what you need before you even know what you need, right? He knows what you need. Verse 33. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. And he says again, therefore, do not worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about Monday tomorrow. For tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own, and that is so true. Right? So what Jesus is saying here is that we should find our comfort in God because he takes care of us. Because he takes care of for the things that we need before we even know that we need them. He is a provider. He provides for us. So here's another rhetorical question I have for you. Again, just think to yourself, is that when you get stressed out, when you worry, when you just freak out, what do you run to? Whether it's something literal, I can't run right now, which stinks, or jump. I tried to jump back in the tech booth and I cried. But when you get stressed out, when you worry, what do you run to? I'll give you some examples. Again, it could be like when you get stressed out, you just go in your bed and then you just get your pillow and you just scream in the pillow. We've all done that. I've done that. It's fun. It hurts my throat sometimes. But where do you run to? Maybe it's, I know some people, maybe middle schooler, I know high schooler, even some college people do this. Some people, when they stress out, they just start eating whatever they find. They just start eating any food, anything that they see just to bring them comfort. And that's not healthy, but that's what some people do. They just run to food when they get stressed out. Or maybe another one is that people will just, again, run to their social media, right? They're like, oh man, I'm stressed out, I'm worried. I just need to forget about everything going on in my life. I just need to scroll through TikTok a couple times. I need to just go on YouTube and just watch some dude perfect videos. Or I just need to go on YouTube and feel better about myself. So I'm going to watch belly flop fails and be like, I can do better than that. Get ready for camp, guys. Yeah, it's going to be fun, belly flop. But maybe you even, maybe a little bit deeper, maybe you start running to gossiping about other people. Maybe you're getting stressed out because you're like, oh man, this one thing happened, someone is saying this about me, so I'm going to go around and I'm going to start gossiping about them. I'm going to start tearing them down because it's going to make myself feel better. And that's honestly what gossip does sometimes, that it makes us feel better when we start talking about someone behind their back because we're like, oh, can you believe so-and-so did this? Or can you believe so-and-so said that or wore that or whatever, or still has like an Android or stuff? I don't know. Nothing against Android. Just came into my mind. Calm down, Mike. But all these things that when we get stressed out, we run to, we start gossiping. Maybe it's like a lust issue. Maybe when you're getting stressed out, you like get all these lustful temptation thoughts and you start acting on them and you start looking at maybe it's pornography or maybe you're looking at all these terrible things because you're stressed out and you think these things are going to bring you comfort. And the thing is that they kind of do sometimes, but it is so temporary. And then you act on these things and then you feel this guilt and shame and you're like, well, now I feel even more stressed out or I feel even more worried than I did before. Now what? Again, what this psalm is saying, Psalm 46, is saying that God is our refuge. He is our only comfort that we will ever need because he is comfort. He is peace. He is our place where we can go to and be open and honest, knowing that he will accept us as we are, and then we expect him to take us where we need to be. So as I invite the band up, I want to kind of lead you guys with a question and then like an action step. All right, so as the band comes up, here's like a question I have for you, whether you're taking notes. I know some of you have like a journal, maybe you have a phone, again, unarmed with a pen, whatever it is. I want you guys to write down this question and just think about it as you go throughout this week, all right? Is that where do you find comfort? Where do you find comfort? Again, it could be like a physical place. You're like, I love my bed, the Tempur-Pedic. The memory foam. Where do you find comfort? Where do you find your comfort? Again, is it in the things I just highlighted, or is it something else that I didn't mention? But here's the thing, if it's not in Jesus, you got a problem. All right? If it's not in Jesus, you have a problem. If you don't immediately run after Jesus when you get stressed out, when you start to worry, you got a problem. And I'm going to be honest with you, that I've been there. I'm still there sometimes. I'm not perfect. I don't pretend to be perfect. But where do you find your comfort? And if you immediately go to like, man, I run to Jesus. I do a Bible plan. I pray to him. I worship him. Awesome. Keep doing that. But if you're one of the few maybe out there that are like, man, I run after social media. I run after popularity. I run after looking good so people can affirm me and make me feel better. That's not going to last you very long. It's going to be very temporary. And you're going to look back at life and be like, man, why did I make all those mistakes, all those terrible things? And again, I'm honest, I was there. I was a middle schooler. I did that. And I look back and I'm like, man, that was just so temporary. It was terrible. So I want to challenge you with is that if that's you, if you're not running to Jesus, if you're not pursuing Jesus immediately when life goes rough, I want to challenge you is that seek Jesus first. And I'll give you a way to do that. Just 3 quick steps, all right? And I've said this before in my life. It's nothing new. And it's this. Seek Jesus first. Find a time, a place, and a plan. A time. When are you going to spend time with Jesus? Whether it's bedroom, kitchen counter, backyard, whatever. Where are you going to, what time are you going to spend time with Jesus? In the morning, at night, afternoon, whatever. Right? So a time, a place, again, kitchen counter, backyard, and then a plan. I don't encourage you guys to like grab your Bible or grab an app and just scroll randomly and go, we're going to be reading Jonah today. All right? Don't do that. Pick a plan. All right? So if you have the Bible app on your phone, or maybe your parents have a phone or a tablet, you can go and just pick all the plans on there and just pick like a 5-day plan, a 3-day plan, a week-long plan, And it'll track each day what you're supposed to do. Usually it's like 10, 15 minutes, and you just follow that, and you just spend time with Jesus in that way. And I guarantee you guys 100% that if you're stressed out and you're like, man, I really want to do that one thing that brings me comfort, really want to gossip about that person, I would encourage you to be like, no, I'm not going to do that, and just run to Jesus. Just go ahead and be like, God, I'm going to spend time with you. I'm going to do this devotional on anxiety. I'm going to do this devotional on taming my tongue, watching what I say. I'm going to just spend time with you, and I guarantee you guys, you're going to start to be more like Jesus by doing that. Because that's what Jesus did when he was here on earth, spending time with God, is that he did that. So as we go into this last song of worship, I want to encourage you guys to really just reflect on what we were discussing, what this psalm is talking about, Psalm 46, and really just think like, man, when I get stressed out, when I worry, because we all do that, where do I run? Do I run to Jesus, or do I run to the things that just bring me temporary comfort? All right, so I'm going to invite you guys to stand on up. We're going to go ahead and go into this last song of worship, and then we'll leave. Jesus, thank you so much that you are the only one that brings us comfort, that you are never changing in an ever-changing world. That when life gets rough, when life doesn't go our way, and we don't know where to run to, we can always be certain, we can always be sure that we can run to you because you are here for us, not against us. So as we go to this song, Jesus, would you just continue to shape us, continue to change us to be more like you in your